Hey RPM family, this is Don. We have a 2012 two-door JK right behind us here. Today we're going to do a video on how to install our 2-inch steering box stretch, which ultimately will gain you 3.75 inches of front stretch when you include our offset track bar bracket. So we're going to get to this video and we're going to show you how the install goes. Okay guys, so we started prepping the frame to do our steering box stretch kit now. So we want to kind of walk you through a couple things we've done. You'll notice the little tabs here that stick out from the frame from the original steering box. We ground those smooth here because we're going to be welding over those and we need those gone. What we've done too is we've marked some holes, but we're going to actually change that at this point. We've decided to bring you a template that you'll be able to print offline on the instructions page. And you're going to take a razor knife and you're going to cut out these 4 holes, which are going to be your new or the original holes. And then you'll overlay those onto the original holes like that. And we're centered on the holes. So we're going to take now and use a punch and your hammer, and you can mark these 4 holes dead center of the square on there. And this is going to mark your frame. And then lay this one out a little bit. I think I missed the mark right there a little bit. Now that'll set you up with peen marks on your frame so that you can hit your pilot hole through there. And then so we're going to hand this off to Brian. He's going to start doing some drilling here, and then we'll be back to go over how it gets installed from there. Okay guys, so we're in the middle of the stretch kit on the 2-door with the steering box stretch. The final piece to that, and we're now going to include a extension tube that'll go onto your steering shaft. So because your steering box is now moved 2 inches forward, we need to put this extension tube on the shaft. What we did is we cut this off straight here. We marked this first so that we made sure it was all in line, and then we basically cut this off, push this up a 1/2 inch onto the splines, and then use this piece of tube to extend this. So now we're ready to put this back in the Jeep and keep moving on this kit. Okay guys, we're moving along on this steering box stretch kit. So Brian and Dave got this all welded in. We got it set up here now with our offset track bar bracket, which we actually had loaded the axle. We did some testing to make sure our pitman arm cleared this before we welded this in. We also are running the big bore box, which requires you to cut and notch this front crossmember tube. From what we understand from customers who put a standard box in, they didn't have to do this, but we are running the big bore on this baby and we had to do that. In addition, because of the big bore, we had to remove the overflow from the radiator that's up in this area, and we're gonna have to remodify that to make it work. Again, with the regular steering box, not so much a challenge from what we've heard, but on the big bore, you got a little bit more work to do on this. So we're ready to put final paint on this and put our steering box back in, and we're ready to kind of put this thing back together. So you can check this part out on rpmsteering.com, and we'll see you out on the trail.